Hello, my name is Sandy Adamitis, the social media director for the Page International Screenwriting Awards, and your host for the Writers Hangout, a podcast that celebrates the many stages of writing, from inspiration to the first draft, revising, getting a project made, and everything in between. We'll talk to the best and the brightest in the entertainment industry and create a space where you can hang out, learn from the pros, and have fun.
Rolling.
Hi, I'm Sandy Adamitis.
Hi, I'm Terry Sampson. Sandy, how was your week this week?
Oh my goodness. How long have you been planning that?
3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, I said, I should say it first.
It is brilliant.
Thank you very much.
I was late today. I was 5 minutes late. When I got to my car, I promised myself not to be reckless. Just because you're a little late, Sandy, drive safely to the studio. Get there safe and don't hurry anyone.
Well, is that not always your way of
Sometimes when I'm late, I get a little anxious and I might drive a little fast.
You don't do what I do and just swear?
I'm a little bit, I think my sisters say, a lead foot. What is a lead foot? Is that someone who's just puts their foot on the gas a lot?
A lead foot is a speeder only.
Oh, I don't think of myself as a speeder.
No, you're not a speeder.
Yeah,
that I know of. I've driven with you before.
Yeah. When I got in my car, the radio was already on, and it was Crazy Train by Ozzy
Osbourne?
Ozzy Osbourne, yes. And that got me amped up, and I drove a little fast. Okay. So that's why I was only 5 minutes late. Terry, have you ever taken a personality test?
Yes, and it turns out I don't have one. No, never taken.
That is so not true. Well, today I thought we'd do something a little fun.
Okay.
The most common measure of personality that I hear most often is type A and type B. This is all going to connect into writing, I promise.
I'm O positive, by the way.
You're O positive?
Yeah.
Type A individuals are outgoing, ambitious, rigidly organized, and highly status conscious. They're impatient, proactive, and concerned with time management. People with type A personalities are often high-achieving workaholics. And type B are easygoing, relaxed, and highly flexible. Generally speaking, a much more carefree approach to life. Now, I always felt that like type A and type B were very limiting when it comes to creating characters, per se. There's 12, 9, 10, it depends on where you look and research, that are the archetypes of film characters. But they're basically the protagonist, the antagonist, the hero, the anti-hero, and the tragic hero. So if you're sitting down to write something, you might look at your characters through those traits.
That is really, I've never thought of it that way, but that is so true.
Yes. And there's the whole Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. That's all out on the internet. I don't have a dissertation that I'm going to say on this, but I've always felt that this kind of a male way of writing, the protagonist, the antagonist. And it never limited me in my writing, but I always felt those like male characters. Not that women can't be the protagonists. You know me. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
Just when I was younger, those words sounded very male energy. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, my cousin Molly introduced me to these personality traits that are called the Enneagram system. And it's a way of classifying personality types into 9 categories. Number 1, the perfectionist.
Okay.
Number 2, the helper. Number 3, the achiever. Number 4, the individualist. Number 5, the investigator. Number 6, the loyalist. Number 7, the enthusiast. Number 8, the challenger. And number 9, the peacemaker. Now, I'll get into what all these personality traits mean. And of course, they all cross over on each other. Mm-hmm. And I'll go through like the healthy and the unhealthy traits of each personality trait. But I also want to say, you can look this all up online. I have no idea if this is a cult. It's just a really cool thing to kind of look in and get to know about your personality. I'm not saying give these people any of your money. It's been around for I don't know how long, but if it's a cult, I apologize. That's basically what I'm saying. Everything's a cult nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Enneagram personality types build on a complex system of overlapping personality categories and subcategories to provide insight about how people feel and act. I took the personality test and it takes a while. There's like 180 questions, but it's really, really fast. And I'll put all that information in the show notes of where you can go and do it. Type 1. The perfectionist focuses on following the rules and doing things the right way. They are motivated by their desire to live the right way and to always avoid fault and blame. They are so intent on being perfect that it can backfire, and they can often be too hard on themselves and on others. These are the perfectionist's strengths, the healthy ways. Ethical, dedicated, reliable, strives to help themselves and others be the best they can be. Faults, the unhealthy. Very critical, especially to themselves. Tend to see things in black and white. Their basic fears, to be bad or corrupt. Basic desires, to be good or have integrity. This got me thinking what kind of characters out in the movies ones might be for examples. How about American Psycho, Patrick Ninn? He was a successful investment banker and a psychopath with impulses to kill people for the most meaningless reasons. Judging others, right?
They just weren't good enough.
He was obsessed with perfection, whether it's over his business cards or that every single thing needs to go exactly as planned when he's killing people. Otherwise, he goes crazy. I would say he's a 1.
Oh, yeah. He's
definitely a 1.
Yeah, he's went a little far into
and so writers, this is just a different way of looking to get in your characters or saying, hey, he's my protagonist or anti-hero. Another one that I thought of was Natalie Portman in Black Swan.
There you go.
That would be another
That's a good one.
Yeah. The cost of perfectionism is transmitted in Natalie character. Type 2, the helper. As the name suggests, type 2s are always there to lend a hand and act as a support system for family and friends. They're motivated by their needs to be loved and needed at all times. They're extremely giving to the point of ignoring their own needs. Terry, I see you thinking deeply. I think you have a helper in your, no helper in your life?
In my life?
Yeah.
Sure.
You seem like you were thinking about someone as I was explaining this one.
I was going through movies in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a tiny brain.
Yes, so. The helper, they really want to be liked and have a strong fear of being disliked. So they will do anything. I'm pointing to myself, writers, because I took the personality test and this is me. So they will do anything to ensure that they will fit in. They tend to ignore their own boundaries for the sake of others. Strengths: caring, interpersonal, warm, giving, value relationships, and service. Faults: focus so much on what others need that they don't acknowledge their own needs sometimes. Think they know the best about the needs of others. Basic fear: being unworthy of being loved, being unwanted. Basic desire: to be loved. Now, writers and Terry, I didn't want to be the helper, but that's what came out. I took the test and I did it honestly, and that's what came out. Who's the helper? Think of movies. Cher from Clueless. When Cher doesn't get what she wants, she manipulates her friends and family to get her way, but convinces herself she is helping them.
Right.
For example, she plays matchmaker between two of her teachers so they'll fall in love, be happy, and give out good grades.
So there's an A in it for
And Addie I think that's her name, Addie, in The Devil Wears Prada. And also Annie Wilkes from Misery. She's also a 2. Again, that's the unhealthy side of a 2. But she is hands down a 2. Then there's Mr. Rogers. He used to express his shame through Daniel the Tiger, who expressed shame for being alive. And that's another thing. I find this traits in all of them. You feel sometimes that you need to have purpose to be important in people's lives. And Mr. Rogers used to be shamed as a child for being alive. He didn't think he was worthwhile. And his wife said that he used to express those feelings through the puppet Daniel the Tiger.
This is real? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Rogers. So he was a 2. He was very, very much into helping people, but also, we're not saying that Mr. Rogers manipulated people. Again, that's the unhealthy. He didn't have the unhealthy aspect of it. But 2s do feel very shamed if they don't feel like they're being helpful or if they're important in life.
Mr. Rogers, he was way too nice for me. I need to...
Too nice and slow. It was so freaking slow, Mr. Rogers.
I know, putting that sweater on every day took like 20 minutes.
I was bored.
Then the slippers.
Bugs Bunny was more my speed.
Yeah.
Type 3, the achiever. Type 3s are success-oriented and extremely driven. They are motivated by their constant need to be successful or at least to look successful to others. They do everything they can to avoid failure. They never want to look like they don't know what they're doing. And they put a little too much focus on what others think of them. Strengths: succeed in almost any situation, productive and image conscious. Faults: feel their worth lies in what they can do and accomplish rather than who they are. Basic fear: to be worthless or insignificant, to disappoint others, fear of failure. Basic desires: to be valued and accepted.
Sure.
I was thinking Miles Teller in Whiplash, written and directed by Damien Chazelle.
You know, in the musician world, this movie is crap.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. This is never the way.
Well, tell me.
This is never the way that a jazz drummer would ever get better. There's no military part of jazz drumming. This is so ridiculous that every person I've ever known has just shook their heads and said, this is just ridiculous.
So fascinating. If Damien had chose a different music genre, would you have been into
classical
the movie?
piano, classical pianist. That's what you need. Yes, you need somebody to hit you over the head and smash your fingers while you're trying to learn to play something. Yeah, absolutely. It's a horrible thing, but it's all about accuracy. It's never about accuracy in jazz, never. The thing about drumming in particular, and I'm not a drummer, but it's all about feel and time. And the time can fluctuate some, but usually that's the thing. People just you have to get into a tempo, a drummer does. He needs to stay there until it changes, whether it changes at that bar or whatever.
That I can understand. Yes, I know it. Yes.
Yeah, but you have to be loose and flowing to do something like that. If I have seen drummers who were struggling with this and they looked like they were panicked all the time. They're going, am I off? Am I off the beat? Am I off the beat? You can just see it. And of course, because they're that way, they are off the beat because they're over worrying about it. You just have to have this sense of flow.
Yeah.
And the good guys do it. And it just amazes me. Like Jeff Porcaro, God rest his soul. That guy was the best drummer with both feel and time that ever existed.
What would I know him for?
Toto. He was a drummer for Toto.
Oh, well, could you please sing a little bit of Africa? It is...
dun, 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 dun. And that drummer in particular, he has the military guy built in him. He doesn't need anybody to tell him he's off. He knows.
He is a perfect achiever.
That's it.
You explained it all, Terry, right there. Movies about achieving your dream and working hard. There's a lot of them. That's a popular movie. Mm-hmm. Wolf of Wall Street. That would be the unhealthy.
Right.
Citizen Kane.
Right.
These are all unhealthy. And Nightcrawler. Another great examples
Okay.
of threes. Type 4, the individualist. Type 4s are motivated by the need to be as unique as possible. They never want to be ordinary. They are also very focused on feeling all of their emotions, all the feels, as the kids say now. Their moodiness can hinder them, and they have a fear of being flawed. Strengths: creative, sensitive, introspective, unique, understanding, empathetic. Faults: desires to be seen and understood at all times. Tends to be jealous and moody. Basic fear: to have no identity or personal significance. Basic desire: to be meaningful based on their inner experience. I read a disproportionate number of actors are 4s. Makes sense, because acting is a way to explore and try on various identities. I would say there are a lot of 4s in the Star Wars franchise.
Okay.
Princess Leia, Luke, Han Solo, Kylo, they're all 4s. Margot Tenenbaum from the Royal Tenenbaums, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. She was the suffering artist, I would say.
Right.
Number 5.
Okay.
We're up to 5.
All right.
The investigator, also known as scientists or professors. Type 5s love to learn. They are constantly striving to conserve energy and learn more about the world. My cousin Matt is definitely a 5. And this tends to make them very private and detached. Oh, sorry, Matt. You're not private and detached. They can be secretive and not very social. Sorry, Matt. Okay, the strengths: knowledgeable, curious, insightful, analytical. There you go, Matt. Faults: struggles to connect with their emotions, very detached, and tends to be a loner. Basic fear: to be useless, helpless, or incapable.
Matt Damon in The Martian.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yet another Matt. Maybe it's just about being Matt.
Their basic desire is to be capable and competent.
Right. Yeah.
Doc from Back to the Future.
There you go.
I just look for professors.
Yeah.
Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Of course.
There you go. Type 6, the loyalist. Motivated by fear and the need for security, loyalists are the most common type. They value friendship and loyalty, but they are also worst-case scenario thinkers. They like to be prepared for the worst and feel anxious if they don't think they're prepared. Strengths: committed, practical, witty, great in a crisis, always prepared. Faults: can be anxious and sometimes struggles with self-doubt. Basic fear: to be without security and support. Basic desire: to have security and support.
Well, this is easy. It's the bestie in any rom-com.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't matter. It could
Doesn't matter. Fill in the blank.
Yep. They're all that way. That's actually what they do.
Chewbacca. There you
I don't do Chewbacca, but I get it.
Oh, and the ultimate, the unhealthy. Right, Schrute.
Right.
From The Office. I love The Office. It's so good. Type 7, the enthusiast. A positive, fun-loving Type 7s are spontaneous and motivated by a need to be happy. They never want to be tied down and are almost always full of energy. They never want to feel any kind of emotional pain or discomfort, so they do everything they can to keep themselves busy and having a good time. Strengths: adventurous, always planning something fun, love having new experiences. Faults: struggle with recognizing limits and tend to overexert themselves. They can struggle with doing fun things in order to avoid eternal pain. Basic fear: to be confined or in pain. Basic desire: to be happy and satisfied.
Steve Martin and Roxanne.
There you, yeah.
Yeah. He's a little bit more complex than that, but he wants to be happy.
Exactly. Yes. All these traits cross over. Bodhi from Point Blank,
Right?
played by Patrick Swayze. Kramer
Oh, of course.
He loves a new situation and always went into it with enthusiasm. There was that. It's just do weird things.
It doesn't matter how insignificant the moment is. He blows it up to, I can't believe how great life is because I got free gum.
Yes. Yes. From China? Was that the free gum from China?
Yeah.
And of course, Jack Black from School of Rock.
There you go.
Buddy from Elf.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great one.
Type 8, the challenger. Type 8s are motivated by their need to always assert strength and control over everyone around them and to never look weak or vulnerable. They can be described as defenders or protectors, and they always know what they want. They are leaders, but they are also obsessed with controlling everything around them. By the way, 8s love 2s. Strength, commanding, direct, protective, very take charge. Faults, confrontational, always need to be in control, always need to get what they want. Basic fear, to be harmed or controlled by others. Basic desire, to be in control and protect self and others.
Well, that's practically its own film genre. Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone. You know,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a...
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom Hanks from time to time.
I'm the captain.
That's right.
And the very last one, are you ready, Terry? Type 9, the peacemaker. 9s value harmony, comfort, and peace. They are motivated by a need to always keep the peace and avoid conflict at all costs. They will go with the flow and tend to let others take control so they can make other people happy. Strengths: pleasant, laid-back, accommodating. Faults: can explode with anger when keeping things in for too long. Can be too complacent. Basic fear: to be disconnected, separate, and or lost. Basic desire: to have peace and stability in their internal and external world.
Yeah, this sounds like a character in many good movies, but I'm trying to think of a lead that plays this.
Joe March from Little Women.
Okay.
And all the iterations of Little Women that have been on the screen, the latest being Greta Gerwig's. And Jo likes a challenge and is motivated to make her way in the world. And Patton.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Played by George C. Scott. So many people depended on his strength. He was committed to the cause with everything he had, with a sense of honor. So writers, it's just another tool for you to have fun, find out what your personality is. And there's a lot of information. Again, I'm sorry if it's a cult. There's a lot of fun videos that teach you how to make your way in the world once you figure out personality trait you are. Again, I was a number 2, the helper. I wanted to be something grander and more cool, but I wasn't. So I will put in the show notes.
I can't picture you as a challenger somehow, but keep going.
I will put...
Roaring into this room. Hit the floor.
I can be.
Well, everyone has all these little pieces.
Oh, everyone has all these little pieces.
You just have to find the wrong time to to get some of these out.
Yes. Remember, there's healthy and unhealthy traits
There
in
you go.
all these personalities. Yeah. And also remember, when you give your characters a trait, there are upsides and bad sides to their trait. Sometimes, especially when you first start out writing, you want to write your character, maybe in a disparaging way, but you find yourself putting nice traits on them because you get attached to them. Just open up your mind, think of all the personality traits out there, and just write the best characters you can.
And that's a wrap for the Writers Hangout. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Your positive feedback will help us keep the show going so we can continue bringing you more future episodes. Remember, keep writing. The world needs your stories. The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards, with executive producer Kristen Overn, producers Sandy Adamitis, and myself, Terry Sampson. And our music is composed by Ethan Stoller.